I got more detail on Joule unlocking. Climb Crypto got me really wondering what he's talking about. Got some more detail. Look through their white paper. Shout out to all the people that hollered at me about it. Love it. Okay, so it is a lot worse than I thought. So last night we talked about Joule versus Crystal, which is better to own. Climb Crypto has talked about dumping his Joule, everything Harmony, basically getting the Crystal. Everything's coming to Crystalville, and there's a supply shock happening with Crystalville with Crystal. I talked about last night, how could the parity get too out of whack? Because the further it gets out of whack, it just means there's no use case for Crystal at that point, because you're just going to be able to do everything on Serendale. So you can still quest and do everything on Crystalville, which is Joule fees. So you actually, at that point, want to use the Joule to play the game and not the Crystal, which is incentivizes you to dump the Crystal. That's my thought process. Well, one of the big concerns that Klein mentioned, the unlocking. And I said, well, the devs have always said it won't just all be dumped automatically on the market, which is partly true. But, okay, so when you click here and you look at Joule in circulation versus Joule total supply. Okay, that's Joule total. That Joule total supply is adding the amount of locked Joule, apparently. So I have not confirmed any of this. It's not real clear in the white paper. So, but I have had a lot of people, chatted with a lot of gurus that are also concerned. Chatted with one guru who's not concerned at all. Okay. But most of us are concerned. That's pretty concerning. And it looks like the unlocking is going to be 2% of this Joule total supply locked being released every week. And until Epoch, let's just pull it up so I don't mess it up. Okay. Over the next 52 epochs. So basically until it starts at epoch 51, which is next month, is what a lot of people are saying. It could be delayed sometime Q3 2022. So it might not actually be in September. Could be October, November. Not totally sure. Would like to get that detail. But that essentially, once that starts, it's about 800,000 Joule being released per day. About 5.6-ish million being released per week Joule. So that's a lot. I mean, we're talking, and since it's starting at epoch 51, over the next 52 epochs, which is basically about a year. So all of this, so essentially what that means is the supply of Joule isn't going to quite triple, but it's going to go up by 2.5 times, over like 2.6 times. So that's a lot. That is concerning. So that certainly, right, will bring sell pressure. So one thought is, there's been a lot of discussion about this. I know the devs have talked about, with everything going on with Harmony, for one, there isn't nearly as much garden. There isn't a whole lot being earned in the gardens. How much is total locked up? Let's look. The total amount locked up in the gardens. Ooh. The total value locked is still 97 million. Wow, guys. I would be going into Crystalville. Is 97 million? Crystalville's like 10 or 12 million. What is going on? I got out of all this because everything's out of whack. Maybe I'm wrong, but I think, so we got 5 million here, 5 million there, 20 million in the AVAX, 154 million there, and 29 million in the Joule 1 pool. Really? I mean, doesn't it make sense to get out of that and go into AVAX and Joule X Joule and stuff? Get out of one. Isn't one like a sinking ship, or do we not? Is there something we don't know? Okay. Wouldn't you rather go into the other Jewel AVAX pool? There's 20 million here. There's only 1.4 with Crystal AVAX, or one, maybe that's gone up, 1.6. Interesting. Why did I think that was much lower? Okay. So, a lot to think about here. It seems like, okay, so one thing that Harmony's moving, I think it's been talked about where the unlocking is delayed or postponed. That's a lot. So that's concerning. Just if you double the amount of tokens in 1 year is a lot. We're talking well over doubling the amount of Jewel being dumped on the market over the next year. Over the next, starting in a month or 2 or 3. So the max supply of Jewel is 500 million. So down the road, I mean, that's for years to come for the emissions and different things, which is fine. So that looks okay right there. This is excessive, I feel like. So that I'm going to create a question on the AMA question, and then I'm going to have everyone vote for it. So it's like front and center next AMA. I'm going to do that tomorrow. My ex-wife is blowing up my phone. Okay. Let me just. Okay, exclamation mark, shooting a video, comma, wrapping up. Okay, so that's a lot to think about. AMA, this needs to be front and center. That's a big deal. So still with this being said, here's where there's a disconnect in my brain. It can't get too out of whack with Crystal. Just absolutely won't happen. So this might also add sell pressure to Crystal, actually. If it gets too out of whack, especially if it got to like 3-1. Right now, I think it's 2-1. Let's look. I'm going to look this up. Give me 1 sec. Okay. As we speak, of course, it's not loading. Jewel versus Crystal. I think the market's doing pretty well currently. Climb Crypto, just watch the show again. Okay, it's pumping. It's doing really well. Wow. That's good. I mean, it should be pumping. So here's another thought that could happen is that when they move chains, whatever chain it goes to, there might be a lot of people buying the Jewel back up. So that's one bullish case for sure. I cannot believe there's still that much locked on Harmony. What is going on? With so little being locked in Crystalville. Huh. Okay. So all interesting stuff. So I have to say, that's got me rethinking. I kind of feel like I should say I was maybe wrong in what I said about that last night. Climb Crypto. Okay. Lots of good things happening there. Though in the market, that's cool to see it pumping. I mean, it's pushing 20 cents. Jewel's pushing 20 cents and Crystal's up over 40, which is amazing. Jewel is up over 40 cents. Wow. And Crystal's almost at 20 cents. Almost. 19.73. Okay. So that's interesting. Another thing I was wrong about in previous videos that I got a nice correction. So always correct me, guys. If I ever say I'm committed to, I don't always know all the information. I'm committed to being perfectly correct in everything I say. So if I say something wrong, I'm going to come and correct it. So no third-party team or service or project on DeFi Kingdoms is actually audited by the team, by the DeFi Kingdoms team. What's wrong with that? Just an FYI. So I think there might be a bit more level of accountability with some more than others. And I think they've talked about an auditing process, but apparently from what a buddy, an awesome dude that I'm going to have on the show told me is that nope, no one's audited. Okay. So that's important to know for botting services, different things. Now I think there is definitely more of a relationship with some more than others, of course. So I needed to correct on that. Also, update on the pools. Everything actually looks awesome. So when I think maybe part of my problem before is that I wasn't supplying enough liquidity. I started too low. So and this time I didn't dump a ton. I did dump quite a few green eggs, like 17 yellow eggs, I think, or 16 maybe. So it's all looking golden in all the liquidity pools that I looked at. So that's a plus. I mean, we're talking basically one day. One day, and everything. I'm gaining Jewel, I'm gaining. The net gain is just looking good. I'm either gaining the items or I'm gaining Jewel / Crystal. The eggs are actually looking the best. So the return I'm getting on the eggs is the best. So it's like, whoa. So I'm like buying eggs, some of which is sort of like buying for myself. So, and you can actually go right now, if you want a golden egg, I just bought one. Now, I bought a couple just to see what it does. Okay. Because, and especially, so I bought them at around 65,000 gold. And right now it's at 70,000 or 75,000, even on Serendale. The price of gold is still up compared to a few days ago, but not nearly as up as what I thought. It's about where it was last night when I shot the videos. The golden egg on Serendale is cheaper, 75,000, 76,000-ish. Okay. I think on Crystalville, it's up over 80,000 last I checked. So you can actually get you can get that for 65,000. And I might have just drove up the price. Dang it. Okay. But I did it yesterday too. And I'm just kind of looking at what it does in the liquidity, and it's cool. It actually subtracts an egg. So there's been more people selling the eggs that way because I've gained yellow eggs and I have lost Jewel, but I've only lost about around 65,000 or 65,000 gold per egg. Okay. Ish. And that's just in one day. So I've gained 3 eggs and lost a net average of 65,000 gold when it's worth 75,000 in the marketplace with the druid or with the vendor. Okay. So right now I did just buy one. So what did that do? It's curious. The gold is looking good too. So when you, and it does a couple wonky things that you have to work through. So it didn't, I bought 2. I bought one yesterday, bought one before I started the video, just kind of looking at it. And it didn't let me deposit that last golden egg. And that was the case with all the eggs on both Serendale and Crystalville. So it's like forced me, at least yesterday, I'm going to try it again. So I got some more eggs and I'm just going to keep putting them in. Okay, so it just went from 65,000 gold to 70,000 gold because I bought one. You got to watch the slippage, but there could be some arbitrage potential opportunities here. That's kind of fun. Okay, but all of it, I feel like I'm happy to gain more items from the game. So if there's heavy sell pressure for the items, that just means I'm, who's providing liquidity, gaining more items, and I am losing the jewel though. But overall, you're getting those fees and you're getting interest, and it's pretty dang good. I think it's like between 50 and 100% interest, APR, or or AP, yeah, ish. Faulty Poker, shout out to him. He has a way to actually look that up, which I'll find that out. I want to find out every nook and cranny detail about this game and be the ultimate guru of DeFi Kingdoms and give you all the alpha that's publicly possible to give out. Crypto, Grady, out, more video. Got a lot more videos to come. Got a lot that I'm trying. I mean, my head's been spinning. Lots going on. Good stuff. Love you guys.